えね、これ。はい。えあ、実際時間合わせてくれましたし、感動してるんです。大気を大切にちゃんと注意払ってくれているってことだと思うんです。こうしましょう。あなたは協力的ですし、どうしたったら次にこのゲームを起動して、この画面が表示されたらあなたの一番好きな時間を設定してください。セットしたい時間を好きに選んで、正しい時間でなくても構いません。ええあ、どうも、チャボです。今回もね、スタンリーパラブルやっていこうと思うんですけど、何今の。なんか前もセッティングするときに、時間を入力したんだよ。動画に入ってたかな。なんか時間入力して、今回も始まった時になんか時間入力あったからやったんだけど、なんかなった。何あれ。一旦続きからやるか。何あれ。ビビるって。よし、まあ前回は反抗しまくってああなったんだけど。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
で進んでみるか。これは触れんかったもんね。終わってるってことないのかな。一緒かなと思って。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his
指
left.
示通りに動いてみるか。なんか変なゲームいっちゃったしさ。違うゲームになっちゃったから。感度が高すぎて。悪くなる。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
上の階に女子の。何かねこれ。読むね。全くわかんない。感度先だよ。ブルームクロ。開く
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
なんかありそうじゃね。なんもないか。なんもない。
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
なんかありそうだから、ちょっと待って。ないよ。なんもマジなんもないの。
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
してはいるって。ジャンプとかできないもんな。
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
お前が喋れば喋るほど俺はここから出れなくなるんだけど。
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
まだ言ってくれ。このゲームなんかストーリーみたいなのがありすぎて全く進まないんだけど。終わりもうプロレスごっこ終わりないかさすがに。よし待ってるだろ。出ねえぞ。ないか出るじゃん。やだな。出るか。
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
この部屋だけでこんな喋ることあんだ。はい、出る。はい。無理か。どこに来たっけ？はい。あ、こっちか。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
ちょっとだけしてみていい？ちょっとだけ。マジで見るだけ。今回はね、本当に見るだけ。気になる。今日はちょっと進むって決めたんだ。めんどかい？こっちか。なんてどう？エクスキューティブバスルームと。in the あれで読みづら。ボーディーフリップスなんて言ってたこっちバスルームなのに風呂場がないっていうなんだここお部屋こっちだなんか
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
マジでスーパーリビナみたいな。お怖い怖い。バイオハザードなんだけど。合ってるこれ。
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
解決できるってこと？マジでゾンビ出てきそう。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
マジで迷う。こっち気になるな。ライトアップ。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
モニターに何が映ってる？
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant
528
nothing.
のやつさ、なんか入力できたやつじゃないの？見して。いや、見えないな、ギリ。もうギリ見えない。あれ何？フィレットって何あれ？うわ、なんかヒントありそう。めっちゃヒントがありそう。何番なんだ？バグってる？バグってるとこは何？マジで気になる。
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe it couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. はい、すみません、猫。はい。でっかいケーキみたいな。でもか。何あれ気になる。あ、どっちあるな。1、2、3、4、5あるのか。探すか、ちょっと。上にもあるの。もう一回やろう。こっちにあってよ。上のやつか。暗くて見えねえ。暗い。ねえ。どこだ？ここにあったの何番だっけ？ここだよな。4がないの。4番どこだ？上のやつ4じゃないの？見えないな。番号が見えねえ。
番誰？4番ないのかな？ないしな。4番がね、ああ、ないんじゃん。あれ、上のやつ以外にあるかボタン。4番っぽいボタン。いねえな。4番とかないもんな。上閉じられてるからいけないんだよな。無理か。はい、進むし。4番気になる。あ、行こう。マインドコントロール。Awaiting input.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
本にしたらどうなのこれ。お。
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I'd have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why do you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, You're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the journey. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment you fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
最初から
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once. Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine! Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.